line is now on hold. This line is now off hold. Goodbye.
Hello, this is Cheryle Renee Moses, and I want to welcome you to my first Moses Mondays. This is my opportunity to have civic engagement with the constituents of my district here in Gwinnett County. This is Georgia State Senate District 9, and I'm excited to come before you. Now, this is a new channel for me on YouTube, so I would love for you to subscribe and click the notification so that when I go live in the future, you will have access to that schedule. I'll be doing a number of video conversations with you as I want to know what's important to you, your family, and your neighborhood. So let's get started. Today, I wanted to talk to you about voting. There are a number of residents in my constituency who have had some encounters with law enforcement in the past and are maybe ex-felons who have always thought that they could not vote. But in Georgia, ex-felons, as long as they are off paper, and what I mean by off paper means not on probation, not serving any time, have paid all of your fines. If you are off paper, you can register to vote. And there is no special process. You don't have to have any pardon. All you have to do is just go online and register to vote. And that's what we're going to talk about today, as well as absentee voting, how to request an absentee ballot if you have not already gotten one in the mail from Georgia's Secretary of State. And then I want you to make sure your information that's on your voter on the ballot is actually how you are registered with the Secretary of State. And I know for many of us, we may have variations of our signature. In 2018, questionable signatures, were part of the reasons that 56,000 absentee ballots were thrown out in Gwinnett County. So definitely want to see if we can have a strategy to reduce that number, if not knock it out completely. So let's get started. So again, I am a Democratic candidate for Georgia State Senate District 9 here in Gwinnett County, and that is representing Decula, Grayson, Lawrenceville, Lilburn, Loganville, Mountain Park, and Snellville. I am a resident of Lawrenceville, Georgia, and born and raised here in Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia, actually, a Grady baby. So I know there are a number of people from all walks of lives, all nationalities, who have had some encounters with the law and may not have been able to vote or thought they could not vote. But in Georgia, you can. And it's a saying from the Georgia Justice Project that you, as a citizen of America, you should register because it's your right and your vote is your voice. And we know that is definitely true. So in Georgia, anyone who is, I'm reading this from the law itself, anyone who is not currently serving a sentence for a felony conviction is eligible to vote in Georgia. And it's a very, very easy process. And I want to make sure that if you or out here and thought you couldn't vote, or really, hadn't been engaged. This is a moment in 2020 that we need all hands on deck for our election. So as far as registering, regardless of what your thoughts are, your party affiliation, just get registered to vote. So let's go through this. I'm going to go ahead and pull up information from my website, well, from a few websites to get us started. The first website we're going to go to is the Secretary of State website. I want to actually just go through and let you see how to request an absentee ballot, because with the coronavirus, we know that mailing in your ballot and voting by mail is going to be the safest way to get that done. And for those who, have to go vote in person, I am encouraging you to consider voting by mail. So let's get started with that. I actually have, let me back up. The Secretary of State, Mr. Raffensperger, went ahead and mailed out applications for absentee ballots to everyone. So you see here, secure your vote. So these were mailed out, has all of your information from your voter registration information that's with the Secretary of State. It's already pre-populated. It's already filled out. So you just have to fill out a few things that we'll discuss very, very quickly here. Don't want to hold you up very long. So let's go ahead and move over to my monitor so that you can see what I'm doing. So if you go to the Georgia Secretary of State website, that's sos.ga.gov. Let me give that again. It is sos.ga.gov. Once you go to that website, you're going to arrive at a home page, and you have a number of navigation tools here. You want to click on elections. Once you click on elections, it's going to bring you to a lot of information. You can go here to actually register to vote. And here it'll ask you, are you registered? And if you are registered to vote, it's going to take you to where you can look up your existing information. So to find out where you're supposed to vote, as well as to make sure you are eligible to vote, because the primary is coming up June 9th. So mark that on your calendar. And the deadline to register to vote is May 11th. So it is fast approaching, and I want you to get this in. So here you go. If you go to mvp.sos.georgia.gov, that does take you to my voter page. But as I showed you, just from going to the Secretary of State website, you will be able to register to vote, as well as, so see here, you go here if you need to register to vote. Both of these are options that are there. It's online. It takes less than 7 minutes for you, if that long. I think I was able to complete it years ago very quickly. So this is a great online tool for you to be able to vote. So as I said, MVP is where you are able to check your voter registration status, your mail-in application and ballot status, polling location, early voting location. You can even find your elected officials. This is a spot for you to get plenty of information about the voting process, all in one spot, as they say. So here, I want to bring you over to the election dates, although I do believe I already have that pulled up for you, but let's look at it anyway. So the previous voter registration deadline was May 11th. That has now been moved to June 9th. This is our presidential primary, as well as the general election for local and state races. Now, should there be a need for a runoff after the June 9th election date, that runoff will take place on August 11, 2020. And those are for local and state offices. Now, the general primary runoff for congressional offices will be, the voter registration deadline for the runoff will be July 13th, 2020. Although they have listed here that the registration for a primary in August would still be May 11th. Oh, because you had already voted there. Okay. So now, mark your calendar. Even after I win my primary, I will be on the ballot for November 3rd in order for you all to vote for the regular general election. And should there be a runoff for the general election, that would happen on December 1st, just a few days before my birthday of December 4th. And then should there be a runoff needed for federal offices, that would take place January 5th, 2020. All right, so you see I have covered that for you. That's a great way for you to register to vote, find out your voter registration status. All of that can be done there. I am also, this is my initiative here, Georgia Vote for Our Lives. You can go to gavoteforourlives.com, and this is where you can go ahead and register to vote or check your status. You can also, there's information here about ex-felons being able to vote as well. I want to make sure we get that word off, because we have now until May 11th, as well as encouraging other folks to go ahead and register to vote. So I'll be doing a serious push for the next few days leading up to until May 11, actually, to cover that. All right, so let's see here. That is the main thing about our upcoming elections, and I thank you again for joining me. And when you fill out your absentee ballot, it's really very straightforward. And in fact, here is the way it looks. They have a PDF that you can fill out online, and this is the way it looks. If you have not already received an absentee ballot, you can go online there where I just led you on the Secretary of State website. You can go ahead and apply for an absentee ballot. You can go ahead and do that online, and then send that in. And it's very straightforward. You see a voter name, your permanent address on file with the election office, and here you can always double check how you're registered by going to my voter page and filling in your information here, and then you can simply check. So that's a great strategy for ensuring. Sorry for flipping through all these pages. That's a great way to ensure that you have put in the information that matches how you're registered online. All right. So if you have any questions about filling out your absentee ballot, how to get one, filling out the application for your absentee ballot, please feel free to contact me. My website is CherylMoses.com. And you can reach me there. Now, these are the election dates, and I went over those with you. But again, these dates are also available on the Secretary of State's website, and I will have these dates on my website as well. All right. Now, if you have any questions about whether a ex-felon, can vote, again, please feel free to contact me, and we will go ahead and help you with that, because you should not no one should turn you away or deny you to vote if you're no longer off paper. And you do know that you never hear an advertisement for ex-felons to vote in Georgia. So let's make that happen if you have family or friends. I've gotten several people who I've known over the years to register. And even in 2018, I'll never forget this young lady. I was doing a voter registration drive there at Walmart here on Lawrenceville Highway. And the young lady, I was speaking to a guy, and we were walking in, and I said to him, I asked, no, I said, are you a registered voter? And he told me in a very low voice, he whispered it. He said, no, ma'am, I've been incarcerated, so I haven't been able to vote. And you know me, I said, but are you off paper? And it was like a slow motion moment when I said, are you off paper? I could feel that a number of people were listening, and sure enough, they just came up to me, and a couple of them, including a young lady, she said, did I hear you say that if you're an ex-felon and off paper that you can vote? I said, yeah. And she said, you mean I could have voted for my president? She was talking about President Obama, and she did not know that she was eligible to vote because she always thought as an ex-felon she couldn't. But in 2018, I got her registered, along with a number of people in 2018. And I'm still pushing that fight to make sure folks get registered, particularly here in Gwinnett County and Georgia. I think we have well over 1 million folks who are eligible to vote who are not registered. So help me in changing that. Stacey Abrams is definitely doing that with Fair Fight. So help on that note. All right. I also wanted to speak briefly to you about how the pandemic is affecting everything, that we are now experiencing a new normal, and voting, we don't know how we're going to maneuver in the future, but just know that democracy will prevail. And I want you to know that I hope that you, your family, and all of your loved ones are safe. And on this day, I want to say that I totally disagree with the governor of Georgia, Kemp, opening the state up. I feel like that was a wrong decision, that he is using citizens and residents of this state as beta testers, as a control group. And you should never gamble with lives of people, period. So we definitely need a change in Georgia legislature. And that is why I'm running for office. And I would love for you to support me and, of course, vote for me on June 9th. I was a first-time candidate in 2018. I lost by a little over 2,000 votes here in a GOP stronghold. So I hope you will check me out on my website, see where I stand on the issues. You can always contact me direct. I'm available pretty much 24/7, and I am for the people. I'm a leader. I have innovative ideas, and I speak truth to power. All right. So if you have any questions, call me. Give me a shout out and subscribe to my channel. I'll be putting up videos quite often. Also, follow me on my social media accounts. And this is the beginning of a great relationship with you all. And just know, in 2018, I ran for office, the same seat, Georgia State Senate District 9, here in Gwinnett County. In 2020, I am back for unfinished business of flipping Georgia State Senate District 9 blue. Have a good evening. Peace and blessings.